physical is the answer context. 2011. One must understand that the desire to hope for something to save you is in itself a justification to not do anything about the situation that's prevailing. Now understand why the physical is the answer. It's not because it's got some magical power with which it will save you. It is because it is the most screwed, stuck part of existence, where everything exists as defined separation, and that because it exists as defined separation, it becomes our solution, because we can see in the defined separation the mistakes we've made and what we have allowed and accepted. And then through time, by redefining the physical, we can redefine our reality to one that's best for all. At the moment, there are those that believe that somehow this is hell, and when you die you escape from this. That is not so. This is hell, yes, but it is a hell that everyone has created themselves. There is no escape. When you die as a physical object with a consciousness. The consciousness is subject to the physical, and it's subject to the physical design. That is why your intellect, your emotions, your feelings, all of those things are defined by your physical capacity, the size of your brain, and the way your physical structure functions. And according to that, you have certain abilities of reason, and you have the ability of comprehension and to make decisions based on the feedback that you get. Unfortunately, the context of this reality is not being taught to the children, and is being misguided by virtually every system, education system, government system, money system. Every system we have is misdirecting the answer deliberately, because there is a sense of spite and futility and ego and brutality and evil within those that is willing to destroy others just for their own happiness. And the true part that motivates this is this pursuit of happiness, and within that everybody has got an agenda. This agenda is what motivates you to do what you do, where you are pushing reality purely for the sake of your own satisfaction, your own self-centeredness, your own self as the receiver, as the one that must benefit regardless of everything else, because apparently this reality as the physical is an illusion and it's not real. You're going to learn one thing, that this is the only reality that is real, that everything else that you've believed was real was in fact not real, but was all made up like a fairy tale. That in some form you will return to this reality all the time. When you die, you will return to dust, and that dust will gather again and make another body, and you will face the same stuff again and again and again and again until you get it. There is no way out from this. The situation is going to escalate out of control completely, because the pre-designs are no longer controlled off-world, so to speak, from heaven. It is now happening in real time, in the moment of realization within a relationship, where a decision is made face to face the deceit is now actually face to face, and yet it is being allowed. All parties participate, know they're lying, know that what they're doing is harming, and they play a game of bluff. It's like playing cards, it's like being in a casino, just wanting to win. You can't win this. The physical is going to win. It's going to tear you down till there's nothing left, till you realize that you have to make sure that the physical design of how we coexist in this world is what is best for all, and that's going to take many years to fix. There is no magical Occupy Wall Street that'll fix it. There is no Arab Spring that'll fix it. There is no gold standard that'll fix it. This is a fundamental problem within the nature of the human that must be fixed. This fundamental problem has caused the structural design of all relationships not to be for what's best for all. So let's look at the naked truth of the physical reality problem. If you bring a child into this world, you condemn the child to this world and the way the world is now. You are then forced to teach the child survival skills, deception skills, and competition skills. Otherwise, the child will simply be in a situation where things will not go well. The better the child gets in competition and deception and manipulation, the more likely the child will survive this world. We all know this. Yet we can change it that it doesn't have to be this way. We can create a world that is best for all. The question is, why won't we? What is the fear? What is causing this? It is an addiction to energy, an addiction to the exhilaration, an addiction to the experience of winning, of beating somebody else down, standing on the pile of shit you've created, screaming, "I am king." That's why even the toilet is called a throne. You sit on the throne and you take a shit. It's really what actually happens within the context of the human experience. Bad news for you all, and I dare all the psychics, all the spiritual ones, all the great masters, I dare you to get out of your body and see what has happened to the afterlife. It no longer exists. You are stuck forever on earth now. Unless you fix earth, you will suffer forever. Isn't it wonderful? At last we have a solution. A solution that includes everyone. All equally screwed until you fix what you've allowed and accepted. So for those that's ready to do something about it, you will not be allowed to exist after death unless you're one and equal as everything. Otherwise, there will be no you once your last breath goes. I mean, the you that now exists is not even real. The you that exists is a fake identity you make up in your mind. You think it up. You create a character. None of it real. Then you take part in this world as this character, and you create a world system based on this character. And they make rules and laws to bind this character to reality. You only actually separate yourself completely into one of the most limited forms that can exist, which is energy. The real source of all power, the one that's binding you forever, is the physical. So there's a lot to realize and a lot to learn to make sure you get to understand what it is you are putting onto your children, why the sins of the fathers are being visited unto the 6th and the 7th generation of those that refuse to love each other as neighbors. Destiny Eye process is a way to be supported in finding yourself and standing through the nature of the truth that is shocking beyond measure. The self-deception, to bring an end to it, and to realize that it is possible for the human, and the real human is a physical being, to actually live in a reality that is best for all, where all beings, plant, animal, everything that exists, is supported. If you can comprehend what we are saying, if you have in some measure realized the extent of the problem, I mean, everything happening in the world like Occupy Wall Street is happening to show you that that is not the way. You have support because what binds you is the physical. So unless you correct the physical, the shit will keep on happening. And as long as you give power to things that should not have power, like money, you'll have elite that will manipulate you and that will treat you like slaves. But who's really allowing it? You are, because you're not willing to become self-honest. You're not willing to realize what must be done to change this world. Join us with Equal Money, where we are installing and preparing to place into being systems that will allow everyone the chance to come to grips with and understand the physical and bring about a world eventually. And hear me, eventually, 10, 20 years from now, that will be best for all. Join us in taking a responsibility. Join us in the quest of self-awareness. Realize that only exists as a physical reality. The desire to hope for something to save you is in itself a justification to not do anything about the situation that's prevailing. Now understand why the physical is the answer. It's not because it's got some magical power with which it will save you. It is because it is the most screwed, stuck part of existence, where everything exists as defined separation, and that because it exists as defined separation, it becomes our the physical is the answer. Context 2011. One must understand that